Whether performing to an audience, a small group, or himself, Justin Lacroix creates music merging Francophone and Anglophone communities. The importance of supporting our communities, celebrating diversity in music, and tangents on ancient Neolithic instruments and how sounds are made in movies is what you can expect in this episode of U-Talk.
My name is Justin Lacroix. I'm a singer-songwriter from Winnipeg, born and raised, and started playing music when I was 4 years old. My parents put me into violin lessons and been playing music ever since. And now I spend my time between songwriting, just playing guitar, and I also kind of got into organizing little festivals over the summer in the last year. So trying to stay involved with the community with and also pitching in however I can.
Do you still play the violin at all, or is that something that's kind of fallen off?
Played more in the last couple of years than I think I'd played in the 8 years of taking violin lessons. I wasn't too motivated when I was a kid, but really grateful that my parents exposed me to it, because now I do pick it up and it feels like home, and I'd like to put a little bit more time into it. But I also have a bunch of guitars, and now I've gotten a couple basses and like to play the drums as well. So I'd kind of like to keep developing all of it. So yeah, not doing 4-hour sessions a day on the violin, but I still play. Yeah, I think I like it more and more.
Whenever you're hearing about any musician for a long enough period of time, they just start picking up a wide array of different musical instruments and talents over time. And it sounds like you're just the same. You're like, oh, let's try out this thing now, and now this thing, and this thing.
We have 3 brothers, and when we were young men or old children, my dad picked up like a whole kit of like basically enough instruments to make a family band kind of thing. So we had a drum kit in the house, a bass, an electric guitar, acoustic guitar, access to all instruments, so that I got to kind of learn my first drum beats when I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and got to play a little bit of bass too back then. When I was 12, I switched. I started playing mostly guitar, because I wanted to sing and play songs, and that kind of is the thing that I go back to as the heart of what I'm doing. Is I've always loved songs, and I love making them, even if it's just a silly little ditty that only lasts an afternoon and then flows down the river. So yeah, whatever I can pick up to make sound, I like the different sounds that I can bring into just creating music for fun or for whatever reason it wants to come out.
It's a great way to just pass sitting there, whether you're watching a movie, shows, something's in the background, you just got your fingers moving, your hands keeping busy.
I don't do it as much as of late, because I've got a girlfriend now, and and I don't know how much she would like it if I was playing guitar while we were watching a movie, but she does enjoy hearing me play. So it's nice to have somebody else in the house who can enjoy because I've always felt a little bit silly about playing for nobody in my house, and so it's nice to have somebody who appreciates it.
At least someone there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Playing just for myself does me good as well, but it feels good to be able to play for people.
So you played the violin. Did you get involved with the fiddle at all? I know the fiddle is kind of a staple for French music.
I've been drawn to kind of pop rock music and all sorts of music from around the world, but when I'm writing songs, it's pretty rare that I hear any fiddle in it. When we were taking violin lessons, we were in the Suzuki, we were learning the Suzuki method, so it's classical violin, and my dad wanted us to learn the fiddle tunes as well, so he would bring in some fiddle. He'd find the fiddle tunes he wanted us to learn and bring them to our violin teachers, and then I got to learn a few. I don't know if they're reels or jigs or what, but a little bit of everything. Yeah.
You got into kind of pop and rock. Is that what informed how your music is today, or how would you describe your music?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily say it's strictly pop and rock. My dad was a music man back in the day, kind of like a DJ of modern days. He'd play socials and weddings, and so we had a bit of a kind of an encyclopedia of of music, any kind of music to make people dance. So polkas and all, like from polkas to whatever, all the light rock that was going on. And it's been really, the songs have been what kind of like, it's not necessarily been a style or another that I've been drawn to. It's really been the songs, and yeah, if they come get me or not. And I think in my music, I like something that's catchy. So there's going to be like either a hook, like a guitar riff that will want to have more of a body to it. So I'll add some lyrics, or whether it be a lyric hook or a guitar riff, that's kind of the hook, something that's catchy. I have a bit of an ear for it, and a thirst for it as well. So that's kind of what's informed it, is picking up on like what's catchy and things, and what just sounds good to me and feels good. And that's something that I can't bypass when I'm songwriting. It needs to feel good, and it needs to I wanna have it stuck in my own head. And that's kind of what kind of forces you to work on something, is if it gets stuck in your head, then you kind of have to work on it.
Well, exactly.
Otherwise, if it's not motivating you, or
then it's just tormenting you. It's just so.
Oh no, then it's gone. It doesn't even torment you.
Okay,
It just doesn't stick. Yeah, sometimes
fades away. A spark that disappears.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's there's a lot of that, and sometimes I get a little frustrated with the fact that I don't bring everything to full term or whatever. But that's kind of the nature of it, because there's sparks everywhere. It's there'll be some that keep sparking, and it's like, all right, I better put something combustible there so that we can make a fire.
Those ideas and things coming together, and the catchy tunes. When I'm listening to your music, like Ticket to Tokyo, one of those songs, it has that catchy energy, and it's just so much fun.
Well, it's just saying it, Ticket to Tokyo. It's like it's fun to say, and that kind of embodies the vibe of the song.
So a lot of your music, French language. What is the kind of the demand for like French speaking songs here in Canada, or I guess just locally as well?
My repertoire is pretty balanced, I'd say, or pretty even French English. I don't necessarily have everything recorded, depending on where somebody lands on my, because I have some stuff that's under Justin Lacroix band, and have some stuff that's under Justin Lacroix online. So depending on if you hit, I think there's more French recordings with the band. It's just important to me, and it's natural for me to express myself in both French and English. So I primarily do it for expressing myself how I feel it, and so sometimes it's in French, sometimes it's in English. And I'm part of the French community here in Manitoba that continues to thrive and grow and change, and I like being part of it, and continuing to participate in the cultural aspect of my community, and I'm also part of the Anglo community, the greater Winnipeg community, and so I realize that I can reach more people in English. Not necessarily. I think doing both is kind of what's me. So that's how I go about it. But demand for French music in Western Canada, there's a community. So for as long as there is that community, there's a need for it. I think it's not necessarily a demand, and there's solid support for French music out west and in Canada, or most Canadian music. We wouldn't hear it the same way if it wasn't for funding in Canada. There's the music industry is greatly supported by the government and the programs that are in place to support the arts, and so we're really lucky to have that support in Canada, and Francophone and minority voiced music is valued, and so it's nice to feel that we've got that support. It would come out regardless, but probably look a little bit different if we didn't have the funding. But I'm grateful for it.
I just think it's a great example of what Canada is. We're such a multicultural place. The French identity was something that was like in the development of the country itself as an entity. was instrumental. The French came here as fur traders, their language kind of spread across. I would like to see French be pushed a little bit more. It just seems like something that's like, oh yeah, we're a bilingual country, but not necessarily like the efforts put in 100% to get people to be actual bilingual.
Yeah, it's I find I find that a little bit tricky. I really appreciate the support and the fact that there are some layers of protection so that the languages that are here can continue to exist. And there are people that work really hard at making sure that these organizations and systems stay in place. What I would like to see is a mandatory course for First Nations tongue in schools.
That would be a great one too. Yeah,
I think that a life is richer if you can speak more than one language, or if you can at least understand that other cultures exist, and that there's a richness in that, and it would be good for everybody to learn more than one language, and I think people get a little I don't know, defensive if try to force it too much, especially if they've got any kind of attachment, because there's some old seated rivalries between certain cultures, and the English and the French is not a little one. So I appreciate that there are a lot of people who value the French culture and want to incorporate it, or learn the language. It's a beautiful language. English is a beautiful language as well, and I think that kind of, the more we can let that kind of old rivalry fade, the better, and so that maybe people will just be drawn more to doing it instead of for good reasons. And but I think I would sooner see bringing in a program to learn more of First Nations culture and tongues. Like I think learning that would really help heal a little. Yeah,
you're right. There's an aspect of Canadian culture that our indigenous folks, our indigenous people and Inuit who have lived here for so long, their cultural relevance within the whole aspect of Canada has kind of always been off to the side. And it would be nice to see it integrated, maybe some more, maybe an equal balance between indigenous studies, indigenous culture integrated within our education system, French, English, kind of fuse them all together. Let's be like a trilingual or even more sort of country, right?
Yeah, it's I'm not my thoughts aren't super well developed in
you don't have the logistics of the process.
But I see Canada as having become a place that welcomes people from around the world, and I think there's definitely a Canadian, I don't know, identity, or a Canadian culture that people from around the world will come and discover. And if we can teach that, or if we can share that and make sure that Canadian vibe or culture is shared and grown within all of the different cultures that come to Canada.
I agree.
I think without necessarily needing to make it. Obviously, we're not going to make all of the languages that are spoken here official languages, but
yes, that's just not it's a little too much to do that. But it would be nice to have a greater understanding of the cultures that were here before colonization and immigration, and just a greater understanding of that would be great. But having that developed cultural identity of our indigenous folks kind of tie it in to Canadian ideology and principles, because then it would feel very unique, instead of just, sometimes Canada can feel very America light at times.
Yeah, I think every culture's got things that are valuable to the fabric of society, and we should just be listening to everybody and having ourselves be heard, and more the same than we are different.
That's the hope. That's the hope, that as we continue forward, there'll just be more unity and understanding between different peoples and cultures. Coming back to music, is there any specific music or genres that you listen to that help inspire your creativity when you're making your own songs?
It's really all across the board. I listen to a lot of different things, and I mean, speaking of different cultures, I love discovering other sounds and music from cultures from around the world, and that all kind of percolates and comes out in a certain way in my own music, my own blend, my own melting pot of music. Just tying it back in, I mentioned I do some organizing of a series of small festivals in Winnipeg over the summer, and it's called St. Bonifest. And I as much as I can, I'm trying to include different music from different cultures, so that exposing people to that is one good way to maybe get people to start listening to each other.
Well, music is one of those things that you don't even necessarily have to speak the same language to get the feeling or emotion out of it. It transcends the different aspects, the way rhythms and beats hit, like the different. My understanding of music theory has completely disappeared since I've left high school. 3/3, 3/6, or whatever.
Yeah, different rhythms. Yeah, different timings. I've always listened to music as a whole, primarily. So by that meaning, like there are some songs that I've listened to for decades and still don't know the lyrics, because I'm not just listening to the words, I'm listening to the whole thing, and I kind of take it in as one, and if I want to learn the lyrics, I kind of have to focus on that. I don't naturally listen to the lyrics to kind of decipher them or whatever. I'm listening to the whole. So yeah, I've always been able to listen to music from places where I don't necessarily understand the language, and it's never really fazed me. I mean, I love crafting a lyric for a song, and I mean, a big part of it is just the sound of the words that are linked up together, and playing with the sounds and the images. I want it to be as tasty in the imagery as it is in the rhythm and the sound of the words.
When we're looking at just genre, like for rock, for instance, like you can have, your traditional rock, but then you go further, you get like metal and then like screamo. Like, it's so crazy how you can just take one aspect and just expand on it to something completely different.
It's a beautiful thing to see all the different kinds of music that have developed. There's music that is this strange and magical, and it can sound like so many different things. I love the diversity and just the whatever, like that kind of unanswerable question of what is music.
And it'll always change. 100 years from now, our songs won't be anything like they are today.
Yeah, who knows? I wish you could just peer into the future just to hear what the music sounds like.
Yeah, that's a whole nother philosophical debate. Like, I just want to peer back in time just to observe what was life, or like see what's ahead. Sure. I just want to know.
But I'm quite satisfied with where we are and the music that I've been able to soak in over my life, and the fact that there are recordings from things that are before our time, and that there's so many really good stuff and amazingly recorded pieces that
I don't know if this is a rabbit hole that you've gone down at all, but have you ever looked up some like Neolithic instruments of what music would have sounded like, at the dawn of humanity, like tens of thousands of years ago, before we had like established civilization or cities yet?
I have not. If you have any leads to go check some of that stuff out.
Okay, I'd have to find it again, but it is.
All right.
Whoa,
yeah,
it is.
Cool.
It's wild. Like,
I bet.
We don't know exactly what the music would have been, but we have some of their instruments and the way they sound. You're like, oh.
It's not lost on me. Like any sound that that sounds good or interesting is like, whoa, what is that? Oh, let's slam that door again. You know, listen to those the water dripping down the manhole or whatever. Drink, yeah.
Oh, that's like what people do for sound design for movies. Like it's like,
Sure.
oh, people walking through the water, and it's just them in like a bucket, like squishing mud or like shaking cutlery. You're like, wow.
Yeah, sometimes I'm watching. It's funny, like having been on the production side of this, when now experiencing movies or recordings, you listen to it in a different way, and it kind of ruins the magic a little bit. But it's also fun to listen or watch a movie and hear the sound effects and be like, oh, I wonder what that was. I wonder what that actually was. How did they make that sound, or what? Yeah, how did they emphasize whatever that? Yeah. So
I think you would really enjoy listening to the behind the scenes of Les Miserables, like the one with Hugh Jackman, like the live action
Okay.
one.
Okay.
They didn't have pre-recorded music, and they didn't do like recording in studios. They just did it live. Like they had like mics on them, and they had someone
Wow.
playing the piano in the rain and the water. It was a disaster. So that might be something to check out.
Yeah, that'd be interesting for sure.
Getting involved in the community is incredibly important to you. How did you get that all started? When were you like, yes, this is something I want to do?
I don't know. It's. I think it's just probably a way of being. Maybe seeing, experiencing it from a young age, and being part of a big family where everybody brings something to eat at Christmas time or whatever. More concretely, I guess, yeah, I've always been open to even helping somebody out with learning to play the guitar and just giving them kind of a kickstart, or teaching them one thing that they can add to their whatever they're learning, giving them pointers, and I think it probably started with that, just kind of giving people little one-off lessons, one-off guitar lessons, because I love that it can give them a key to open another door that they wouldn't have had access to before, and then just ideas. I like this little festival that I started up. I'd spend some time walking around in St. B and would come up to this park, Coronation Park, that's like perfect for an event. And I've been talking about, we need more events, more musical events, so that we can support more musicians, and also educate an audience, like train an audience, because if you don't have events, people don't know what it is to go to a concert or a festival, and if it's not accessible, then that's leaving some people out as well. So all of these ideas kind of just like I don't know, stewed for a long time, and for the festival in 2019, I just said, well, I've got these ideas, and I don't see anybody else doing it, so might as well just do it. And I've got my bandmates are very generous people too, and we kind of, they were my sounding boards, and we put this thing together. But it's I think over the years, it's just something that's kind of grown more and more, that kind of desire to help out some way, somehow, to whatever.
Well, it's a great pay it forward sort of mentality. You do something, someone else will be inspired, like, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't too much to take on. That maybe I do have something to give back to the community. And that way everyone kind of comes together, and we're all a little better in the world.
Yeah, hopefully doing a little bit more good than neutral is already a lot.
Got any new materials or things that you're working on?
I try to always have something on the go, writing wise, and yeah, I've done. I actually participated in one of these like kind of song clubs, or where there's a handful of songwriters, and we have to write a song per week and send it in. So if not, you get cut out of the group or whatever. So that was a nice experience. Just before the new year, I think I wrote 6-7 songs in like 7 weeks. So there's some of that stuff that I'll want to continue to work on and record. I've got a good number of songs that haven't been recorded yet. So I'm trying to sort out time so that I can get to this recording. So shortly there will be new recordings out. But yeah, I'm always playing and trying to come up with letting new things come up on their own, really.
Well, that's a great sort of way to get motivated when you're joining those kind of events where it's getting people together. It's like, all right, let's write a lot of stuff. So I know there was some where it's like for acting, where you just write a play or something. It's like you have 3 days to write this, or something's called Game Jam, where it's like you have 48 hours or something to make a video game. Like those, right. You can really get some creative ideas out when you have those limitations put on you.
Absolutely, yeah. I think creating, drawing out a line where you're, drawing out a line where your playground is, lets you have more fun.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure meeting with you and talking with you. Where can people go to find out more about your music, yourself, and maybe if they want to help out with creating some of these festivals or getting involved in the community? Where should they go? My
website is justinlacroix.com, and that's Justin Lacroix, so Justin JUSTIN LACROIX.com is my website, and there's links for most things there. And you can, my email's there too. So if you want to send me an email about getting involved volunteering at the festivals in Winnipeg this summer, there's going to be 4 of them, and it's called St. Bonifest. But you can get a hold of me through my website. justinlacroix.com is a good place to start.
If you have any stories you'd like us to share or communities we should highlight, leave a comment on our social media or reach out to us on our website. I'm Ryan Funk. This was You Talk, and have yourself a good one.